wasn't at Fox News when it all kicked off, but I was at another network and we were having a blast covering Laura Ingraham, who is one of Fox's biggest stars. Recently, she made waves by announcing that she was leaving the network. Laura has been a staple in Fox's primetime lineup, hosting the Ingram Angle since 2017 and building a strong reputation as a bold conservative voice in media. Her exit is a big deal for both Fox and its viewers, leaving everyone curious about what led to her leaving and how it will affect Fox News going forward. Before we dive deeper, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons for more exclusive news. Laura's departure comes at a tricky time for Fox, as the network is dealing with its own internal issues and outside pressure. Over the years, Fox has had to adjust to changes in politics and what viewers want, all while keeping up with the shifting media landscape. Laura, with her straightforward commentary and strong backing of conservative values, has been a key part of what makes Fox, well, Fox. Now that she's gone, people are starting to wonder what's next for the network and how they'll replace one of their biggest influencers. Even though her exit seems surprising, it wasn't entirely out of the blue. Her career has included both high ratings and a fair amount of controversy, which has made her a significant player in right-wing media. She really knew how to engage conservative viewers and throw sharp critiques at her political foes, a style that sometimes brought her into conflict with various groups, including political opponents, activists, and even some advertisers. These conflicts followed Laura around, but never really seemed to put her at risk at Fox, until now. The reasons behind her decision to leave are a bit of a puzzle. While she hasn't revealed a specific reason, it seems several things might have influenced her choice. One possibility is the changing environment within Fox itself, as the network has seen a lot of changes lately in its editorial direction and staff. What do you think this all means for the future? Some people think that changes at Fox News might be causing some quiet struggles behind the scenes. They're trying to keep their core conservative viewers while also dealing with new cultural and political trends. Ingram stepping down could be a sign of these tensions, marking a shift for the network. Another point to consider is how Fox is facing more competition in the media world. With other conservative channels like Newsmax and OAN gaining traction, Fox is working hard to keep its audience. For years, Ingram helped Fox stay at the top of conservative media, but shifts in viewer habits might have played a role in her decision to leave. Maybe Ingram felt that her style and views would shine brighter outside of Fox, allowing her to explore new paths without the stress that can come with network politics. Her exit also comes at a key time for conservatives overall. After Trump, the political scene has split, with some sticking to his populist brand, while others want to go back to traditional Republican ideas. Ingram was a strong Trump supporter and amplified that populist message, so her departure could mean she's looking to adjust her own take on political commentary, possibly anticipating changes in the conservative scene. It makes you wonder what kind of voices Fox will bring in next, and if the network will keep the same ideological direction. Ingram's leaving will definitely have a ripple effect on the media landscape, since she was one of the most powerful conservative commentators in America. Her show often set the tone for conservative media, with her points being picked up by others. Without her, there might be a shift in who gets heard in the conservative media space as new voices try to fill the gap. People will be paying close attention to what Ingram does next, as it will give hints about her future plans. Even though Ingram is leaving Fox News, it doesn't look like she'll just disappear from the spotlight anytime soon. Throughout her career, she's shown that she knows how to adapt and stay relevant, whether it was when she first started as a political commentator and author, or during her time at Fox. She's built a brand that really connects with a big part of the conservative audience. This brand mixes political insights with a strong cultural identity, which she could easily take with her to whatever she decides to do next. Will she start her own media platform, join another network, or maybe head in a completely different direction? One thing's clear, Ingram still has a lot to offer her fans. But what does her leaving mean for Fox News? That's the big question. Fox has been a major player in conservative media for a long time, but it's not a sure thing anymore, especially with how quickly media habits are changing. They're facing more competition from new conservative outlets and digital platforms that focus on niche audiences. Ingram's exit might be part of a bigger trend, where big media personalities are looking for more freedom and are choosing to connect with their audiences through online channels instead of sticking with traditional networks. Fox has to handle the after effects of Ingram leaving carefully. They've had quite a few changes recently, with other big names like Bill O'Reilly, Megyn Kelly, and Shepard Smith all moving on. Each of those departures was tough, but Fox managed to stay on top in cable news. Now with Ingram gone, the network has to think about reshaping its primetime lineup again. Will they find someone similar to take her place? Or will they try something different to attract a wider or more diverse crowd? At the same time, Ingram's choice to leave could push other media folks to rethink their own paths. Lately, there's been a noticeable trend of journalists and commentators branching out on their own, taking advantage of subscription platforms and content that goes directly to consumers. So who knows what's next for everyone in the media game? Laura Ingram's exit from Fox News is turning heads in the media world. She's not the only one making moves lately. People like Barry Weiss and Megyn Kelly have also jumped into independent media, each finding their own level of success. You wonder, is Ingram looking to take charge of her content on her own terms? After all, working for a big corporate network can be limiting. Her leaving could really shake things up, especially as we head into the next election cycle. Ingram has played a big role in how conservative messages are shaped, particularly when it comes to election time. Her interviews with political figures and her commentary have been key for Republican candidates. Without her on Fox News, who will fill that gap? Other conservative voices will need to step in, both at Fox and beyond. It's clear that Ingram's departure might change how political conversations happen on the right. We may start seeing new faces stepping into bigger roles. While we don't know all the reasons why she left, what's clear is that the conservative media landscape is shifting, and Fox News finds itself at a crossroads. This change marks a new chapter for the network, but also opens up fresh opportunities. Fox will have to smarten up to adapt to the new media scene while keeping its dedicated fans happy. How the network manages this could really impact the future of conservative media. For Ingram, this might just be the start of something new. She has always found a way to stay relevant, even when the media landscape has drastically changed. Maybe she'll create her own platform, team up with other media outlets, or take some time off from the hectic cable news cycle. No matter what she decides, Ingram will likely remain an influential figure in conservative circles. Her voice will keep playing a significant role in political discussions. This shift isn't just a big deal for her. It also highlights the complicated relationship between media personalities and the political discussions they help shape. For years, Ingram has been closely linked with conservative views, and her departure opens up a lot of questions about what comes next. With her strong impact on both right-leaning viewers and the larger media scene, Ingram's exit gives us a chance to think about what this really means for her and the future of conservative media and commentary. At Fox, she was able to really capture the feelings and hopes of conservative folks, often reaching out to those who felt ignored by mainstream media. Through her show, The Ingram Angle, she presented herself as a voice for everyday Americans who value traditional beliefs, smaller government, and a solid national identity. She had a knack for breaking down complicated issues into clear, engaging commentary that resonated with viewers, making her show a key part of Fox's primetime offerings. Ingram's departure marks the end of a significant chapter in conservative television, where seasoned personalities like her shaped and guided the political conversation. Over the years, she transformed from just a media persona into a symbol for a bigger cultural and ideological movement. Even though her strong beliefs often clashed with mainstream views, this made her a somewhat divisive figure, yet it also won her a loyal following among conservative audiences. Now, without her on Fox News, the network faces a tough task in keeping the same level of viewer loyalty and interest that Ingram brought. One big question is whether her leaving might open the door for new and different voices in conservative media. Fox has faced criticism for sticking to one way of thinking about conservative ideology. Ingram stepping down could give the network a chance to diversify by bringing in fresh perspectives that reflect various parts of the conservative audience. This might mean introducing younger, more diverse commentators who can inject new energy into the network and help it keep up with the changing media environment. On the flip side, there's a chance Fox might look for someone similar to replace Ingram, sticking with their traditional approach. What do you think will happen next? In this situation, Fox might look for a new host who shares the same strong conservative views as Ingram. They could choose someone already part of the network or a well-known figure from the world of conservative politics or activism. But here's the catch. It might be tough for Fox to find someone with Ingram's unique charm and smart approach, which are key for keeping viewers loyal. The conservative media scene, just like the rest of the media, is changing fast. More and more people are getting their news from online sources, podcasts, and social media, often opting for direct and candid content instead of traditional cable news. This shift brings both challenges and chances for Fox News and for Ingram too. For the network, the tough part is staying relevant when viewers are spreading out and niche outlets are pulling them away. For Ingram, though, this could be a chance to jump into one of these new spaces where she can have more say over what she shares and connect with her audience in a more personal way. If Ingram decides to go into independent media, she'd be joining a wave of notable media figures who are leaving traditional networks to start their own platforms. With the rise of sites like Substack, Rumble, and YouTube, commentators can now connect straight with their followers, enjoying greater creative freedom and less control from traditional powers. This would let Ingram keep her influence while trying out new styles and formats, maybe even going for long interviews, opinion pieces, or more interactive chats with her audience. In this new media world, the lines between news, opinions, and entertainment are becoming more blurred, giving people like Ingram the chance to reinvent how they present themselves to the public. Ingram leaving Fox also raises some big questions about the future of cable news. With viewership dropping and younger folks leaning toward online sources, cable news networks like Fox are feeling the heat to come up with fresh ideas, especially after losing well-known hosts. What does this mean for the future of news? Ingram's exit is really putting the heat on networks to rethink how they connect with audiences who now want content that's more diverse and engaging. Fox might have to get creative, maybe by making its shows more interactive or by sharing content that's easy to pass around on social media. But it's not just about the media. Ingram's leaving could have bigger effects too. She wasn't just another face on TV. She was a key player in sharing political ideas and had a specific viewpoint that many politicians and activists looked to. Her opinions often popped up in discussions on Capitol Hill and elsewhere, and her show served as a stage for conservative voices to share their plans. Without her steady presence on Fox, things could change between conservative media and politics. And let's talk about her impact on the Republican Party. She was tight with some big names, including Donald Trump, and often backed his policies. With her gone, could we see a new direction for how the party uses media, especially with upcoming elections? Will the new faces in conservative media stick close to the party, or will they branch out and support a wider variety of conservative views? This is pretty important, especially since the GOP is dealing with some splits between its populists and its more traditional members. Not having someone like Ingram in the spotlight might create a chance for new leaders to step up in conservative media. As media outlets continue to change, we might see that the next wave of conservative voices could come from social media, podcasts, or other independent spots. This would really change how political ideas are shared and talked about, moving away from the centralized approach that Fox News had. Ingram's leaving could really change how conservative media feels and sounds. Known for her bold style and knack for jumping into hot topics, her show often led the way in discussions about immigration, free speech, and identity politics. So what will happen now that she's gone from Fox News? Well, we might see a shift towards a more toned-down version of conservative commentary, especially depending on who takes over her primetime spot. On the flip side, other conservative outlets might ramp up their combative approach to grab the viewers Ingram leaves behind. Another big deal about her departure is how it could affect Fox News business. Like many cable news networks, Fox counts on its primetime shows for high ratings and advertising dollars. Ingram's show brought in solid numbers, so her absence might cause a temporary drop in viewers as some faithful fans look elsewhere for their news. Moving ahead, Fox will need to figure out how to keep those viewers, whether by bringing in someone with a similar vibe or changing up its programming to attract different audiences. How well they handle this change could really impact their profits and overall influence. Ingram's exit also represents a shift for conservative media during today's culture wars. She has been a strong supporter of traditional values and frequently criticized what she viewed as the extreme ends of progressive movements. Her takes on identity politics and cancel culture were a big part of her charm, so without her, Fox might need to rethink how it tackles these cultural subjects. With so much division in the country right now, will they stick to being a stronghold against progressive ideas or try a more balanced approach for wider appeal? And let's not overlook the ripple effects of Ingram stepping back from the spotlight. Fox has often been a leader in conservative media, and her exit could inspire rival networks to push harder and take more risks. What does that mean for the wider media landscape? It'll be interesting to watch how everything unfolds. Fox has been changing things up to grab the attention of viewers who feel left out. But this might push some conservative media to think more about what they show and focus on deeper issues because the political landscape is shifting. For Laura Ingraham, leaving Fox opens up a world of new opportunities. She can now dive into different media projects that let her control her message and brand more. Independent platforms might give her the chance to tackle topics that she couldn't fully explore at Fox. Plus, she could try new things like podcasts or online videos, which let her connect with people in a more personal way. Her exit from Fox isn't just a career move. It shows big changes happening in conservative media, politics, and journalism. As cable news struggles with how folks are watching, Ingram's departure really points out how much individual personalities impact news outlets and the political views of their audience. This moment could have huge effects on everything, from how media interacts with politics to the future of journalism itself. One key thing about Ingram leaving is how it highlights how important media figures have become in shaping political beliefs and unity. For years, she's been more than just a commentator. She's been a trusted source for many conservative viewers who look to Fox for political insight and guidance. The modern conservative movement has relied on voices like hers to help clarify and boost the views of the Republican base. This brings up some important questions about how media helps create political unity, especially in movements that don't have a strong leader. At Fox, Ingram was part of a group of well-known hosts like Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, and once Bill O'Reilly, who all had a lot of influence. There's been a lot of talk about how certain people have shaped what gets put on the air at conservative networks. Think of them as the people picking and promoting topics that really hit home with their viewers. This influence isn't just about what we see on screen, it's also about how the Republican Party focuses on different issues, thanks to these media figures. As Ingram moves on, it makes you wonder who will step into her shoes and how conservative media might change because of it. Her leaving also gets us thinking about how the strong personalities in media often clash with the organizations that employ them. Networks like Fox really depend on their big-name anchors, making those individuals just as recognizable as the channel itself. Ingram's exit shows both sides of the coin. While having distinct personalities can build a loyal audience and help networks stand out in ratings, losing someone like her could leave these networks scrambling to find someone who can keep viewers coming back. When someone with a strong following leaves, like Ingram, it raises questions about how much power these media figures really have compared to the institutions they work for. Lately, we've seen many media personalities from all sides of the political spectrum trying to connect with their audiences on a more personal level, often moving away from traditional channels and starting their own platforms. People like Glenn Beck and Ben Shapiro have left mainstream media to build their own brands, giving them more control over what they say and how they engage with their fans. With Ingram's departure, this trend could pick up even more speed. She might decide to go independent, using her established brand to connect directly with her audience. This shift is interesting because it reflects a bigger change in how media and personalities interact. What's next for both her and the future of conservative media? The media world is really changing right now. Traditional cable news is having a tough time because more younger people are skipping TV and getting their news from streaming services, podcasts, and social media. This shift is causing some big challenges for networks like Fox, which used to rule the cable news scene. Now they're facing competition from newer conservative outlets like the Daily Wire, Newsmax, and OANN that are doing well online and attracting loyal fans. Ingram leaving Fox could mean some bigger changes are happening within the network too. Fox has been dealing with some internal changes, especially after the Trump presidency, and because of other competing media. Even though Fox has always been seen as the top spot for conservative news, more populist and far-right platforms are gaining ground by appealing to people who think Fox is too moderate now. Ingram played a big role in keeping Fox appealing to those who support the populist movement. Her exit might hint at a shift for the network, possibly moving towards a more moderate approach. But only time will tell. Another thing to think about is how her departure will affect Fox's relationship with its viewers. Ingram had a loyal following who tuned in to hear her perspective on political issues. Her bold, straightforward style really connected with conservatives who value a strong stance on traditional values and nationalism. If the network changes direction and seems less aligned with those beliefs, some viewers might feel left out or lose interest. For Fox, keeping this audience happy will be a big task. They might need to make some major changes to who they hire and what kind of shows they put on. Plus, Ingram's departure raises important questions about where conservative media is headed now that Trump is no longer in office, and what that means for the future. Ingram played a big role in pushing the former president's messages and policies. Her show often had strong supporters of Trump, and she wasn't shy about backing him even when his moves caused trouble among traditional conservatives. Now that Ingram has stepped away from Fox, people are wondering how conservative media will change without Trump. Will they stick with Trumpism, focusing on things like populism, nationalism, and being anti-establishment? Or will they go back to some old-school conservative values like managing money wisely, supporting free markets, and keeping foreign policy in check? This shift might open doors for new voices in the conservative media, especially those who didn't get much attention before. As the landscape changes, there could be more demand for different opinions that shake things up, like libertarian thinkers, anti-intervention conservatives, or younger tech-savvy commentators who can dive into topics like government overreach, free speech, and personal freedoms. These new voices might help steer the future of conservative media, especially as the culture and politics around us keep changing. Ingram's exit also brings up the question of gender in conservative media. As one of the few well-known female hosts on Fox News, she held a special spot in that world. While conservative media has mostly been male-led, Ingram's success showed there's definitely an interest in female voices, especially those who can connect with all viewers. Her leaving might create a gap, not just in ideas but in representation too. It'll be interesting to see if Fox and other conservative networks will promote more women into key roles to keep a balance and reach out to female viewers who liked Ingram's take on things. Another thing to think about with Ingram's leaving is how it could change the game for conservative media overall. Ingram wasn't shy about diving into cultural debates. She often took strong stances on hot-button issues like immigration, gender identity, and political correctness. Even though these topics can really divide people, that was a big part of what made her popular. Many of her viewers saw her as someone standing up for traditional American values against a culture they felt was getting too liberal and progressive. Now that she's gone, people are wondering if conservative media will still focus on those cultural arguments or if it will shift towards different topics like the economy, foreign affairs, or tech issues. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We'd also love to know your thoughts on Laura Ingraham leaving Fox News, so drop your comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.